Hey guys, how you doing? Okay, so today I'm gonna record what will probably be my last Diablo 4 video for a while. And this video will be a review. I've got a 75 Barb and a 58 Rogue. Played Sorcerer a little bit. Played Necro a little bit. Played Hardcore a little bit. And let me tell you what I think. So, for me, Diablo 4 is at least two different games. Maybe three different games. Okay? And so you can see graphically, I personally think it looks quite nice. Some people with, I don't know, I guess you'd say higher graphical standards or higher graphical expectations, they don't think it looks that great for a 2023 game. I haven't played every game that released in 2023 and 2022. I played a lot. I'm a gamer. I think the mud looks great. I think the spell effects look really nice. Let's go to Kyovashad and we can look at the snow. I've got a relatively fast SSD that is installed on. The load times are no problem. That's great. You leave footprints in the snow, which I think is kind of cool. There's plenty of ambient background activity going on. NPCs, dogs, cats. Now, as you can see, it's laggy in town. It's gotten better, but it can get really frustrating prime time with all the lag. The inventory system is very limiting. And one of the big problems is gems. Supposedly they're going to add a gem tab, or they're going to put gems in your inventory here. Store them like your crafting materials. That sounds great. But from what I've heard, it doesn't come until Season 2. Season 3 starts in July. I think it's going to start end of July, and it's going to run for 3 seasons. So end of August, end of September, end of October should be the end. So sometime in November will be Season 2. And that's when we're getting the gem tab. That's a load of crap. The gem tab needs to be pushed out tomorrow, because gems absolutely consume your pack space. It's really annoying. I've moved a lot of them. This is for my lower level tunes. As you can see, requires level 20. And then these guys are for my mid-level tunes. And this is for my slightly higher level tunes. Because these are capped at level 60. And be very careful. You have a low level piece of gear and you slot it with one of these higher gems, you instantly make that piece of gear usable only by that level, even once you unslot it. Terribly stupid system. Just what a bombastic fail on Blizzard's part. I don't know who the hell thought coding it in like that. I have no problem with it making the gear temporarily level 50, level 40, level 30, whatever. But to make it permanently stuck that way is a major quality of life failure on their part. The game has mounts, and I think they look great. The mounts work well, but not as well as they ought to. And let me get outside of town and show you. This is my pre-order mount. Oh, let me show you all the mounts I have. The pre-order mount is my favorite so far. And I've also got, so there's the pre-order. I've got this Old Nil Steed, which I guess if that's the only one you've got, that's great. I got this Spectral Charger. I'm not really that into the dead necrotic theme. It does look cool, but it has a different sound set that sounds more, you know, more like a spectral steed, like a ghost or whatever. I personally just don't like it. I don't really see the difference between this and this. Not that big a deal. Get this striped one, which I don't know. And then you've got this demonic looking thing. Temptation. Again, not a look I'm really into, but it does look, it looks cool. Yeah, that's a bone tail. So I like my pre-order. I found these different mounts, these different armors. Some of them are quite cool. So here's the Ashava. And then here's the Brigandine. This is really cool. This looks like the Temple of Light. I like this one. I think it's cool. Makes it look like a demonic unicorn. And this is kind of generic. So I go with the unicorn. And then there's a fair number of trophies. I got the demonic head, which I think is, I mean, I've killed a lot of demons, so I like this one, but it sits on the horse weird. It looks like it's glued to his ass. The book is cool, I guess. That's the Herodric Tome. If you're into the undead necrotic theme, then this would go well with that. The horn is cool. I used the horn for a while. This is just a box. I really don't see much point in just a box. It's a consortium strongbow. It's just a box. So this is usually how I run. Okay, and let's look at how the horses perform, because they're not perfect. For one thing, they get stuck on corners a bunch. You'll have a corner you think you ought to just blaze right past it, and he gets hung up. And if you're in a high density location of mobs, it can be deadly. It can be dangerous to get. You see how he's slowing down? Okay, and this is his max speed. You can dismount with a special attack. The barbarian one is quite good. The rogue one is quite sucky. Let me see if this is up. Nope, someone just finished it, looks like. I'm going to show you the combat here in a second. Now, the one thing horses can do that's really important, you have 3 spurs or sprints. And I'll show you here. It allows you to move much more quickly. And it allows you to move through mobs. You get passability for a short, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds. Hopefully I'll ride into one of these ambushes and I can show you. Sometimes this game likes to spawn monsters in on you. If you think that is lame, this is not the game for you, because they spawn in on top of you all the time. There's the special attack. Now my barbarian uses a special metric called fortification. I've got to fill this up till it's past my my health. So I really have to hold on to my fury. There we go, now I'm fortified. Now he gets really tanky. So I've been using my, so here we'll go. Barbarian is considered one of the strongest late game tunes, although that's Whirlwind. There's a Whirlwind shout build. Let me show you my ultimate. Oh, hit the wrong button. Now, as you can see, part of the problem with combat, you're not supposed to stand in that stuff, right? But you can't see. There's so much going on, so many health bars, and so many effects that you can't, a lot of times you can't see you're standing in fire or you're standing in poison. It's really frustrating. You can't see that you're standing right next to a, sometimes you can't see that you're CC'd. You saved my life. And it just gets really frustrating. So that's the combat. And let me say, early game, even into mid game, I think the combat is quite cool. Late game, I think the combat starts to suck. And the reason is based on how they choose to scale the difficulty, the tricks and mechanics they use to make the game more difficult. They do it by spawning in just insane numbers of mobs. Because when you first start playing this game, you're like, wow, that's an ambush. Okay? When I first started playing this game, I was like, wow, there's a lot fewer mobs than Diablo 3. And I liked that. I thought that was cool. But that's only in the early and mid game. What they start to do, and you'll see this on my barb because he's high enough level. He's in world tier 4. There's 3 world tiers. Okay. World tier 1 is where you should start. You should play the game on world tier 1 until you finish the main campaign. Finish the main campaign, then you're trying to get ready for moving on to World Tier 3. Okay? And the way you do that is play a lot of... See here? Look at this. See how long that CC lasted? That's what's wrong with the combat at this level. There is entirely too much crowd control in this game. It is insane how much soft and hard CC there is in this game. And it absolutely ruins it. It just ruins it. They start spawning in huge numbers of opponents. And you get crowd controlled right and left, over and over again. You see, I applied my CC. I thought... With my build, I thought, you know, you can't beat them, join them, right? And at World Tier 4, you also start getting these mobs that buff up the other mobs. I did by jump because I saw a bunch of... See here? That's more CC. They blind you. And you stand there and you can't do anything. It is so annoying. There is so much crowd control in World Tier 4. It starts to get bad at World Tier 3. And by World Tier 4, it's absolutely asinine how much crowd control there is in this game. You get slowed. You get snared. You get frozen. And you get terrified. So you lose control of your character. Your character runs off the screen. And of course, what does your character do? Runs off the screen into more mobs, aggroes more mobs onto you, and makes the situation even worse. Okay? It's just absolute garbage. I hate the combat in World Tier 4. I loathe it. And in World Tier 4, this game gets just abominably grindy. This is one of the most grindy games I've ever played, outside of Elden Ring. In World Tier 4, you really get pushed to doing nightmare dungeons. Nightmare dungeons are harder versions of dungeons that you use with these sigils. And look at this laundry list of negatives. Volcanic, monster poison damage, monster shadow resist, monster overpower resist. Okay? There's this one where this annoying crystal follows you around and nukes you anytime it gets close. And it can nuke you over and over again. It's not on a cooldown. It is so annoying because there's so many mobs. You get pinned into locations because you're surrounded by 40 frickin' mobs. You can't see the ground you're standing on for all the mobs, all the spell effects, and everything else. And then this damn crystal comes up and gets close to you, A lot of times you can't even see it because there's so many mobs on the screen. There's so many spell effects going off. It's just asinine. I hate it. I hate this game in World Tier 4. I love this game in World Tier 1 and 2. When you're going through the campaign, this game is a 9. The campaign is so good. It is excellent. It is so good. The first 50 levels are absolutely sublime. It's the best Diablo ever made, the first 50 levels. Once you get into World Tier 3, things start to change, right? You no longer have a campaign to play. Now you're doing Helltides, Tree of Whisperers, doing some dungeons to get some abilities you need and for, you know, XP and loot. But at least you're doing multiple things, right? You can still go out and do local events. Not Helltides. Not Helltides at World Tier 3, right? Wait a minute. Yeah, you get Helltides at World Tier 3. And in World Tier 3, you start to see some of the early dungeons. Okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about here. There's different tiers of sigils. And so you can see here, requires World Tier 3. Requires World Tier 3, World Tier 3. So up to Tier 20, you're in World Tier 3. Then when you move on to Tier 25, now it's World Tier 4. And this is when it gets grindy. And this is what you're supposed to be doing. There's a huge XP buff to Nightmare Dungeons. And so it is clear the devs want you doing Nightmare Dungeons in World Tier 4. And the XP doing other things sucks. The XP doing Helltide sucks. The XP just running around the open world sucks. It's no longer a Diablo game aspiring to be an open world MMO. It's just Diablo 3 Greater Rifts. Just not as fun. Grindier, if you can imagine. So, the other thing in this game is the itemization and what they've done with it. Gone are the days of itemization characteristics like in Diablo 3 that actually make sense. In this game, they're all over the place. Physical damage over time. Now, buffs to Hammer of Ancients, that's obvious. Buffs to attack speed, that's obvious. But what's not obvious is some of these other buffs. Let me see here. Life regeneration while not damaged. 27% damage for 4 seconds after killing an elite. You're like, what the hell is that? Okay. Damage over time. Damage to slowed enemies. Chance to execute injured non-elite. You got all these conditionals. It's this if then else statement to get your damage. It is garbage. God damn. Just give me strength, right? Strength to make my DPS go up. Vitality to make my survivability go up. Armor to protect me, and resistances to protect me. Why can't it just be that and make sense? No, they have to have all these different damage, what they call buckets. And you need to know what the buckets are, and that's how you drive your DPS up. It sucks. I hate the itemization in this game. I absolutely hate it. I think it's the worst itemization system in Diablo that Diablo's ever come up with. And so, I'm getting close to 20 minutes. I don't think this video needs to be a whole lot longer. Basically, the game is a lot of fun, 1 to 50. It's a 9. If you're going to come in here and play a bunch of alts through the main campaign and level them up, and there's this renown system where you get these zone rewards. You only have to unlock these once, and then all the tunes on your account in Eternal get it. You have to do this separately for Hardcore. Okay? I think this is a cool system. You do 1, 2, and 3 in World Tiers 1 and 2, and you do this one in World Tier 3. So you've got these other fun systems that you're doing, and they are fun. I like that. But once you're done leveling to 50. Once you're done with the campaign, once you beat the capstone dungeon is the thing you have to do to go from World Tier 2 to World Tier 3. Once you've done that, the fun drops off dramatically. And so for me, it's a 9 before the capstone dungeon to go to World Tier 3. And it's a 4 whenever you get past that. Maybe even a 3. I really do loathe it. I mean, it's so grindy. I can't express how grindy this... It starts to feel grindy in World Tier 3, and it's just this mind-bending, will-breaking grind in World Tier 4. I honestly can't see how anybody can stand to level to 100 in this game. It is so boring. It is so repetitive. It is so frustrating. Just no thank you. It's a 3. And so if you average that out, you know, my final analysis for the game would be a 6 overall. And at $70, you're going to have to ask yourself a really difficult question. How important is the main campaign to you? How important are alts? Okay? And how often do you play? If you play an hour or 2 a day, and you want to get every single class through the main story, this game's worth $70 to you, definitely. Because it's sublime. It's excellent. Absolutely excellent. If you like grinding, doing the same boring-ass activity over and over and over and over again, if you like dying to frustrating, hidden gameplay elements, stuff you can't see, things you can't do a damn thing about, and you're going to get killed repeatedly because of this bullshit crowd control system, because of this bullshit mob density that they spawn right on top of you. They just keep wave after wave after wave, and the damn monsters come out of the ground. It's so stupid. Or they fall out of the rafters. It's like, I know damn good and well what you're doing. You're spawning shit on top of me because that's more difficult. You're doing this to make the game more difficult because you're not creative enough to come up with a system to make the game more difficult without just these lame, tired, old action RPG tropes. That's what they are. They're tropes. If you don't mind that or you like that, game's worth $70 to you. Absolutely. Me, I got my $70 worth out of it. I played this game a lot. I don't think I'll ever play it again. I don't care about Season 1. I'll come back for the expansion pack, especially if they add Paladin, Crusader, or whatever. I'll come back if they add a Monk. But, you know, if they just keep adding more and more range classes, to hell with that. I like melee. I don't like range classes, and I don't like magic classes. So, yeah, the game's a 6 overall for me. And I think I've described to you the good and the bad, so you can make up your own damn mind if you want to buy this game. So, anyway. Coffee if you got it. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment below. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. There's a lot of people who think Diablo 4 is the best Diablo game ever made. I think they're wrong. I think the other Diablo games are better. I think this is the worst Diablo game ever made, in my opinion. I would never rate any of the other Diablos as a 6 overall. I'm very disappointed in this game. And it's not what I was hoping it would be. I thought the combat was going to be smaller scale, more methodical, more build-based. It's not. It's more twitchy, personal skill-based. It's knowing when you've been CC'd, even though you can't tell you've been CC'd. Or knowing you're standing in poison, fire, and some other bullshit on the ground that you can't see. I really don't like it. So, thanks for watching, and I am no longer enjoying Diablo 4. If you can enjoy it, hey, that's great. But for me, this game is a lose, and I'm done with it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.